Hey guys, Matthew here. I hope you liked that new intro. Today we are going to be taking a look at my 9th grade art portfolio. These are pieces that I've been working on over the course of the last school year. So without further ado, let's dive right in. This first piece is called the hyacinthospatioviri. So this title might sound complicated, but it's just me trying to sound pretentious with a Latin title, but it basically directly translates to Blue Spaceman, and this one is probably one of my favorites. I use a really nice ink on it for this blue part. It's Waterman Serenity Blue, and this is really nice ink because it can turn red or look red under a certain lighting, but it also fades out to a nice sky blue when diluted with water. Overall, this one's really cool because the background was done using a very black ink, and I also used a toothbrush to flick out these star patterns. And overall, this one took probably the longest time out of all of my pieces in my portfolio, so I really like how it turned out. This drawing is called Muscular Person, and it was done using pencils. So as you can see, it shines a lot in the light just because of how much soft lead I packed into the paper, but it was made to study the anatomy of a person and also the muscular structure. We were each given a photo of a bodybuilder and drew it on these huge sheets of paper, and I really like how he turned out, especially the hand areas. And this is the largest piece I did. The pose from my reference photo looks really epic, and overall I think it turned out really nice. Next up we have Drip Giorno, and this one is Giorno from part 5 of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, and I like this one because of how funny it looks. I made him fully dripped out with the Supreme shirt and the jacket, and it just looks really funny. So next up we have this concept art thing of an attack robot, and this one is heavily inspired off of various other Star Wars bounty hunters, as you can see from its robotic joints and the armor plating. And it features a cool looking sword and a hat that covers up most of his face. And this one was to study ink wash and how to use brush pens. Next up we have Yellow Bus, and this one was made using watercolor and also waterproof ink pens. So this one helped me get comfortable using stuff like microns to do line art, and also helped me get more comfortable using the watercolor medium. I really like how watercolor looks when it's dried, just because of how many bold colors you can get. I also really like how scenes or landscapes after rain looks, just because something about the sidewalk being wet looks really aesthetic. Gourds, using pencils. So this one is probably one of my favorites, just because how dark the background is. I used some tape and a whole pencil just to shade this background and make it extremely dark. As you can see, it shines a lot in the light. This backdrop shadow also looks pretty fuzzy. I think it looks nice and matches with the background shine. The gourds themselves have a lot of texture packed into them, a lot of really fine details that I had to put in, and this one probably took like more than a week just to finish. I like how the end result turned out, but honestly, I could have been smarter about the background and used something like ink or paint, but I like how the pencil shines. So this one is my custom designed Nike shoe, which is heavily inspired off the Air Harache for the sole and the upper, but I did add some of my own customized parts like the colorway and also the swoosh that wraps around the back and is also parallel to the ground. I think it looks really unique. I like how the orange really pops in contrast against the blue, and also just the red parts that would probably be made out of like something like rubber if this was a real shoe. Next up, we have my skull, and this one was made using colored pencils for the upper and for the lower part, the grayscale. Abstract part was made using ink and gray ink. So this one looks pretty nice because of just the textures on the head, and it was made so that we could study how a skull is constructed and help us have insight onto the various proportions that are seen on the actual human face. And I definitely learned a lot drawing this. Let's move on to the next one. Next up, we have my Arizona iced tea poster. So this one's very interesting just because of the process that was used to create it. Our art teacher gave us droppers and black ink and also straws. So the technique that we used was to drop large globs of ink just randomly around the paper and then blow down on them using straws to create these nice branch-like spindly fiber things. So I like how natural it looks because when you blow down, it's really unpredictable where the ink will go. If you guys know me in person, you probably already know that I love the Arizona iced tea, especially the green tea, like the outside packaging of it. I think the blue, green, and the gold, and the pink, white flowers just look really nice together. And the background was done using a kind of glittery ink, and you can see I kind of messed up in that part, but it shimmers a lot under light. And also the lettering was done using gold ink, which also glimmers. It's just a really shiny piece. This one is called The Unknown Savior, which I did using ink wash. It features a scene depicting a soldier helping someone out of the rubble. I wanted to create an image that shows the real-world struggles that both soldiers and civilians in Ukraine are living through right now. The reason why I don't have a physical copy of this anymore is because I sold it to donate the proceeds. Finally, we have my mountains painting, which was done using traditional ink wash techniques. And I really like this one because it kind of melds the Western composition with the foreground, midground, and background, but I use the subjects and the mediums of Eastern art. So my favorite part of this is actually how the birds turned out. You can see the birds in the background just because it gives a lot of motion to the otherwise very calm image. If I were to do this one again, I would probably just shrink this boat because I want the mountains to look bigger. Something else I noticed is also I could have added a waterfall or something to help blend the water and the mountains better, because right now it looks like the mountains are just floating there. But overall, I really like how this one turned out, and this piece means a lot to me because it was kind of a turning point in my artistic journey where I started focusing more and learning and practicing in specifically ink wash because I just love how much variety you can get with, you can see the expressiveness and the brush strokes and also just how much gradient you can get. But this is obviously something that you could do with pencil or watercolor, but in my opinion, I like ink better because it's just more satisfying. It's also a lot more portable because all you need is a pen and a water brush, some ink, and that's basically it. Anyways, if you guys want to check out my Instagram, I'll leave a link to that in the description below. I've also been uploading a lot of reels there and just hit over 10,000 followers. And my most viewed reel has hit over 11 million views, and that's just crazy. So thank you to all of my Instagram followers. Secondly, I want to do a giveaway, which just comment down below which piece was your favorite, and make sure you're subscribed to this channel, and I'll send an original to one random lucky commenter. I recently updated my intro and outro too. I'll also probably be uploading more onto this channel in the near future, so stay tuned. And until then, bye.